In this video, we're going to be doing just a few simple examples on genetics, and we're using SpongeBob as an example. So for number 1, we've been given lots of traits: body shape, body color, eye size, and nose style, and we've been told what's the dominant and what's the recessive. So if we look at the genotype, big L, we can see that that's both dominant, so that's homozygous. And we see that big L equals long, so that means that big L is going to have a long nose. Now what about little y? We can see Y corresponds to body color. So the big Y is dominant, the little y is recessive. We see little y, that's homozygous recessive, so that's going to be blue. What about big S, little s? That's heterozygous, so whatever the dominant feature is, that's what it's going to be. So S is body shape, big S is square pants, little s is round pants. We have one of each. The dominant is going to mask the recessive, so he's going to have square pants. Big R, that stands for eye shape. Round is big R, oval is little r. Since we have two dominant alleles, it's going to be round. Big R, little r, another heterozygous, so one round, one oval, that's going to give us round. Little L, that's back to nose. Big L for long, little l for stubby. Two little l's gives us stubby. Little s, that's back to square or round. Since that's two recessives, that's going to be round pants. And then big Y, little y, that's back to body color. Since we have one dominant, the dominant is yellow, so the body color is going to be yellow. Now, the second part says write the genotype for the trait that would correspond. So if we have a yellow body, body color is determined by the Y's. Yellow, we could have big Y, that'll give us yellow, but the heterozygous form, big Y, little y, will also give us yellow. Now what about round? Round pants, that's body shape. Round pants is recessive, so that means it must be little s. Oval eyes, eye shape. Round is dominant, oval is recessive, so in order to be oval, you'd have to have two recessives. Long nose is dominant, so either big L or big L, little l. Stubby nose is recessive, so it has to be two little l's. Round eyes, let's see, round eyes are dominant, so we could have homozygous or heterozygous, and they both be round. Square pants is another dominant, so either homozygous or heterozygous, and they'd both be square. And then blue, let's see, blue is recessive, so little y. Alright, so now let's look at these. If we are heterozygous for round eyes, let's see, round eyes corresponds to R's, so heterozygous would be one big, one little. Purebred, that means homozygous, so purebred square pants, square is big S, so big S. Homozygous, so again the same, for long nose, that's big L. And a hybrid, so that's different, for yellow body, that's going to be big Y, little y. Right. One of SpongeBob's cousins, Sponge Billy Bob, recently met a cute square pants gal, Sponge Gertie, at a dance and fell in love. Use your knowledge to answer the questions. So if her father is a heterozygous square pants, then let's use S's. So he's going to be big S, little s. And her mother was a round pants. That was recessive, so that's little s. What is her genotype? And we see that she's square. So we know that if it's square is dominant, she could either be big S, or little s. Well, because her mother was little s, and she has to get one of those from her mother, that means that she's got to be heterozygous like her dad. So complete the Punnett square to show how you would determine her genotype. So we know that her mom is little s, and I'm going to put little lines underneath of the little s's. And we know her dad is heterozygous, so that's big S, little s. So if we complete the square, we've got heterozygous, and then two that are homozygous. And so since we know that she is square, she must be one of these heterozygotes. Sponge Billy Bob is heterozygous for his square pants shape. What is his genotype? And so heterozygous is big S, little s. Alright, so if Gertie and Billy Bob had children, what would they have? So that's two heterozygouses crossing. So we're going to have one homozygous dominant, we're going to have two heterozygous, and we're going to have one homozygous recessive. So what's the probability they'll have square pants? Well, the square pants is dominant. That's all of these guys. So that's 75%. And the round pants, that's this little guy right here. So that's only 25%.